How much do you think you'll make this year?
Well, I'm slowing down a little bit this year because I'm not looking at making, this year I'll make $250,000. People will say, you're an anomaly, but I'm not an anomaly, okay? I'm just a regular person following the process. I couldn't make that kind of money doing any job, not even at corporate. And I know that it doesn't matter how high I go in corporate level, there's only a ceiling I can go. And they're not gonna pay me $250,000 or $200,000 for what I do, laying around, being at home, on the phone, on the bed, out the door, at the balcony, to do whatever I want. The freedom I get, as you know, is I'm sucked into the freedom that I have in what I do. I can do it whenever I want to do it or not when I don't want to do it. I can go away for a few days or go overseas, and I'm so in control of my life. So based on what I'm making with the opportunities that Pink has given me, I couldn't do it anywhere else.
Ultimately, we need to keep this real, and you know that behind the scenes, it's the same as in front of the camera. I don't prep you on anything. I don't ask Michael for any prep. He doesn't feed me questions. It's completely a scrutinization process, and we want to hear about the good and the pain. It's always going to be that way. So that's why this stuff works, because people who are a good fit will benefit. So that's kind of what I wanted to do today. I wanted to sort of maybe ask for results on the front end of our chat. What have been some of your most exciting results thus far? We've been tracking you now for 2 years. You've been in it full time. You've built a team. You've had challenges along the way that made it hard to put in the effort at times, which has happened in every business. So I want to see how you'd rate all that, kind of the results. And then I want to get to maybe how you would describe the business to somebody new. Like, what would you say to a seller? What would you say to a family member, a friend, when they ask you, hey, what is this about? I sort of want that summary again. I don't expect it to be how Michael or his team would describe it. I really want it to be from your own experience. What would that sort of elevator pitch be for somebody that's listening and saying, well, what are they talking about? Because it is kind of weird, right? I mean, we're talking about, number one, it's called Little Pink Houses, which when I heard that, I knew that there was some song, but I didn't recall, I didn't know at the time.
It doesn't conjure up any image. It doesn't conjure up what we do
at all.
So let me know when we're starting, when you're pressing the recording button, or are we on recording already?
So that's the summary. Well, I had pushed record earlier. Well, first of all, everybody, Ton Michelle, welcome back to the channel. She's been on quite a few times, 2 or 3 at least. And she always gives us the good, the bad, and the ugly regarding her experience with Little Pink Houses of America, which has been a sponsor of the channel for a long time. And the only way that people are welcome back to the channel over and over again is if they deliver. And that's why you'll see people disappear. We never want that to happen. We try to vet on the front end really hard, but Pink continues to impress. And I like to follow the journey of folks that are actually involved, because it's the most real testimonial on YouTube. Most YouTubers, they don't do this kind of thing. So Ton's first appearance on this channel was in, I want to say February of 2019.
That is correct.
So we're like, going on 2.5 years of following her so that we can really kind of scrutinize the model. Do not go into business if you're expecting a short-term experience. I would discourage that. Do not start a company if you're trying to run it for 2 or 3 years. This is when I go into business or I make long-term investments, I'm looking 10 years and beyond. And so I think that there are some perks to this business model we'll get into. But I wanted to ask you, Ton, what have been let's start with the favorites. Let's get off on a positive note here. What have been your favorite 2? Let's do 2, if you can narrow down. And I did not give her these questions in advance, anybody. This is all brand new. Catching her.
So please feel sorry for me, okay?
Right. It's more of a pop quiz. What would you say are the 2 sort of most exciting things that come to mind about Pink?
Okay, so the 2 most exciting things for me, well, first of all, Matthew, I want to say thank you for letting me come onto the channel again. It is such a wonderful surprise to hear from you, and that I'm so looking forward to sharing with you all the changes that are happening in Pink and with us. And the reason why I'm so excited is basically the question you ask. What are the 2 most exciting things that happened? Now, in the last year or so, 6 months to a year, the real estate market has changed dramatically. Yeah. And what I love about Pink is that we're not a one strategy company, all right? Anytime there's a buyer and seller and they're willing to put a deal together, we will find a way to put the deal together because we have the real estate specialists behind us, right?
Okay.
Many, many years of experience. So what I have experienced the last 6 months to a year is that I have not just been doing executive lease purchase. The market demand has asked me to sell properties outright.
Okay.
Oh, so for example, and so now I've done half my properties now in the last year has been what I call FSBO flips. Okay, FSBO flips means that for sale by owner flips, and we're flipping just like in the wholesale context, but we're flipping beautiful houses, retail houses, and pretty houses. Right. So, for example, we have people come to us and say, all right, we want to do executive lease purchase. The seller wants to sell it, okay, as a lease purchase. They're able to wait for the money. But sometimes the properties doesn't sell as a lease purchase. And sometimes people say to us, oh, we love the property so much. We just want to buy it outright. Can we do that? Yes, that's the easiest. We can do that. We just get the lawyers to do the paperwork and we sold it. So we're finding that a lot of sellers now, when they, even if they don't want to do a lease purchase, and I tell them, well, what would you like to do the property? Oh, we want to sell it outright. Yes, we can do it too. And so we then take on the property under the same conditions, as in taking over the property and being the marketer for them. And we just sell it to the direct buyer. We just wait for 2 months for the lending process to complete. And it's just like a traditional sale. Okay. So can you see now that we can cater to the market, whatever the market wants?
And let's talk about the market real quick, if you don't mind. And I dove into this in detail with Michael's video as well. I really want to ask the hard hitting questions. That's why, again, not having Michael on this call is so important because, I don't want anybody to think that we're just trying to steer it his direction. What about the inventory? Is that helping you in that situation where you've been able to sort of traditionalize the process in an out of the box way so that as the ebb and flow of the business, which happens in every single business, ask any business owner over the last 15 months. Is that something that you think, has contributed towards to your ability to overcome the inventory issue? Because I think that would be one of my biggest concerns coming into this is that the inventory sucks right now.
Yes, there's no doubt that is an issue. However, we've been able to have Pink and the market combating the market issues in an intertwining way. So we have moved with the market. So instead of just offering people executive lease purchase on our phone with our sellers, if they don't want to do that, we ask them, what do you want to do? They want to sell outright. Yes, we can do that. We can do that without the realtors, without the realtors commission. We can market for you. We do all the work for you. We do all the showing. We do all the marketing, and we sift out all the buyers, and we negotiate for you, and we present you the offer that you want. Mm-hmm. Okay, so whatever we make on top of that, whatever the agreed price is what we make. That's the risk we take, okay? Yeah. It depends on how savvy we are. It's no different to wholesaling, right? All the sellers want is they want their money. Yeah. And they tell you what they want. If I can give you what you want, do you really care how much more money I make?
No, of course.
I could make 5, I could make 20. Things may get very complicated. I could make 30. So right. I had a deal last year. I closed just before December, Christmas Eve. I closed on Christmas Eve, where the property was a retail property. But there's so many problems with the property. I couldn't sell it to just any retail person, and they didn't want to do ELP. But in the end, we got an investor company to buy it, and we made $37,000 out of it. Because the realtors have tried to sell it twice. So for the whole year, it couldn't sell because there were issues with the house, okay? And it wouldn't pass inspection. So it's one of those quasi properties. So if they kept it with the realtors, they'll never be able to sell it because realtors need the property to be in a certain condition and to pass inspection. In the end, we got a property company that came in and said, we'll pay $245 for it. And we made $37,000 out of it. Did I get realtors to help me? Yes, realtors did bring in their buyers, and I did get a realtor to help me. And so we just pay them. At the end of the day, we still make a great $25,000, right? So there was room for that. So that's how it started with the market. Was not a lot of houses, and we start to be a little creative. Now, the other thing that came into the market is because houses are hard to get, we now offer that we can sell traditionally for you, okay? They think we're realtors, but we're not because we're telling them how we do it. There'll be no commission. There'll be no listing agent, buyer's agent's fee, 6%. We just make what we make on top of it.
Remind everybody how long you've been with Pink.
Yes, I've been with Pink since February, since November 2018. But I remember I went to Singapore and I didn't start till February when I came back, and that was the first video I did with you. So that's 2019, 2021, just over 2 years now.
Okay.
So I have gone from executive lease purchase and to into meeting what the market needs, and now going to physical flips, which is like wholesaling retail properties, which is like selling it traditionally. Okay.
And here's where I think somebody might feel sort of scared, which is, you sound really sophisticated. I mean, in the last 2+ years that we've known each other, you've come so far in terms of your comfort zone. I can hear the confidence in you. You're telling me this business model. And if I'm sitting here listening to this for the first time, I'm thinking to myself, well, this sounds overwhelming. So let me start with the sort of take me back through the process of your experience. How much real estate experience did you have before you got into this? Remind everybody of that.
Okay, so I came from Australia and I started working here probably about 1 year before I came with Pink. I wanted to get into real estate, but I know nothing about real estate, know nothing about Atlanta, don't even like driving the highways, don't know where the highways are, don't know where they lead to, right? So that's what I decided that I'll get a coach, a real estate investment coach. So I had the coach for 1 year, and during that 1 year, we did a lot of wholesaling. That's all they start is wholesale, distressed properties, right? So we did that for a year, did very well out of it. However, when it started to me doing my own distressed properties, I started to feel, I feel the dangers of being out there. In the distressed property areas, and they're usually a little scarier, and I don't want to carry a gun, and I drive a nice car, I don't want to drive a bomb, And so learning that, I decided that when I got to know Pink, that I'm going to be wholesaling pretty properties through the executive lease purchase. I thought, how wonderful. I'm getting to do all the things I love doing without all the dirty stuff that I don't like, crawling under the crawl's face. And, executive lease purchase with Pink was the perfect thing. I get to make an income up front. I get to make a cash flow in between through the rental income. I get to have back-end equity. And also, at the end of the day, it's like I'm a property manager, I'm a landlord, but without all the stuff that those people have to do. So I found that with this strategy, there's 5 profit centers. Okay, so it depends on how you work the 5 profit centers. It could be very lucrative. And the best thing is we're helping most of those people out there who are not able to get a home. So the joy in these faces, every time they do a closing move, they're always so happy and so thankful that we really help them to get a home. Now, with this change in the market, now, for example, I had a house that I did an executive lease purchase for the lady, right? So putting a beautiful tenant in there, and then she got married. And her new husband had a house. She said, Tan, I want you to sell that house for me. I can't do a lease purchase, but can you just sell it for me? I said, yes, I can. Well, I just make $28,000 out of selling that property.
So how much do you think you'll make this year?
Well, I'm slowing down a little bit this year because I'm not looking at making, this year I'll make $250,000. Okay.
Wow.
But
how much time do you invest to make that?
Well, I'm part-time at the moment. And I have to say that because the other half of that money, probably less half the money, is going to come from another source of income at corporate jobs, okay? But most of it will come from my real estate. I don't really want to do this day and night. It's very consuming, and I'm not at the stage that I want to do that. So
does the model fit somebody who does not have experience in real estate and somebody that does not have the time to commit full time? Does it still fit that person to get involved with this business model?
My short answer is yes, because I'm working part-time at the moment. All right. And last year I only did something like 8 houses, okay, because I was not well for half a year, and I still did very well out of it, just $180,000. Now this year I'm deliberately giving myself a quota because I don't want to work as hard. I just want it to be easy. So I'm working part-time at the moment because I have another corporate job at the moment.
Fair to assume that
the answer is yes, yes. But the caveat is you've got to give yourself time to learn. So you can't expect
work harder in the beginning. You work harder in the beginning, right?
Yeah, you work hard in the beginning, put in 20 hours, 15, 20 hours, but don't look at it as, oh, what did I get after 6 months? Well, this is a long-term thing, okay? So I would say give it at least 3 to 5 years if you're doing part-time to even become a master of the art.
Right. We've had a lot of people on the channel that are involved with Pink, and they all say the same thing. I mean, it's a common thing that...
Yeah, you've got to give it the time to learn, right? And especially if you're doing part-time. Yeah, like everything else. You're not going to get an engineering degree if you don't go for classes for 4 years or 3 years, whatever it is, maybe here. But let me tell you what's exciting. Now, Pink is what we call the Pink Real Estate Academy, right? The academy itself means education. So what Pink has done in the last year is to open up so many different kinds of real estate strategies to arm our affiliates with so much more knowledge than just the executive lease purchase. So
Do you
when
consider yourself part of corporate? Because when you say we and us, it makes it sound like you're representing Pink. Are you representing Pink as somebody that works with corporate, or are you representing?
Oh yeah, I beg your pardon. I should have explained that. I do have a part-time job with corporate at this point in time.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so I've been doing that for the last year.
Okay.
For the last year. So I get a little confused. So I went
how do you think that influences the way that you appear on the videos? Does it change? I mean, is it a solicitous approach? Do you care if people sign up? If you're working with corporate, is it a conflict of interest?
Yeah, no, because I don't have to do a corporate job. In Australia, I was a trainer. I was a national trainer. Mm-hmm. So my role is just training.
Gotcha.
Training and helping people with the product knowledge. That's what I do. I don't do anything else. I don't care about anything else. And my business is the most important to me. Therefore, it's important for me to produce my business, to be the testimony to train. That's where the fit is. And that's what I used to do in Australia. I was a national trainer and I run my own franchise as well for the corporate. Cool. So I do go around the country training people.
And I think that's a really good explanation too. This is very much like a franchise. It's business in a box. People pay a decent amount of money for this. I think if you understand what it takes to build businesses, typically you would understand. My apologies, everybody. This is what we get for living.
That's okay.
You know, you would understand that what they charge to get this business prepared for you is a small portion of what you're going to spend building any other company. I actually got away with spending about what they charge to start a recent drain business that's gone very well. As also, I think that it's an infinite collection of opportunities that exist on the planet. Identifying which one's most compatible for you is the toughest part, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I've got a couple deal breakers that I like to use to analyze businesses myself and to diversify my income. I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind rating them. I have a total of 6 deal breakers that I want to run past you. And I want you to rate it from 1 to 10. 10 being it's exceeded your expectations through the last 2 years, and a 1 being you feel like it was a waste of time and or money, and you would never go back and do it over again. So the very first one is, and this is related to the Little Pink Houses experience that you've had so far. Integrity and honesty, how would you rate that from 1 to 10?
10.
10. Okay, great. Punctuality and dependability.
Different aspects. It depends on different people. I would say between 8 and 10.
Okay. Let's go with support and resources.
For me, it's 10. Otherwise, I couldn't be as successful as I am today.
Okay, great. And let's talk about a really important one on my list: freedom and geographical mobility. Being able to earn from anywhere.
Well, in my market, I have more than enough. So I've never had to go out beyond.
No, I just mean if you wanted to travel in your business, you still wanted your business to operate like I'm doing here, right? I'm obviously on the road living in full-time.
Okay.
Just travel is a very important one for me. Now, this list is not going to apply to everybody, but that's an important one.
This is territorial based.
So
this is territorial based when you buy your affiliateship.
No, I understand. But are you able to still travel and work? Or do
Yes.
you have to be on site? Are you locked into your area?
No. I do a lot of deals when I'm on the road, when I'm on holidays, when I'm just going away for a week. Yes, I'm on, because this job is mostly on the phone.
Good.
It's mostly on the phone unless you need to see a property and you see it only once, unless you need to do a showing, which is at a certain time on the weekends or whatever. Those are appointments that you make, right? But other than that, if you're just siphoning phone calls or making the contact, it's just on the phone. You can do it in your bedroom. You can do it in a hotel.
Well, and I mentioned the drain business. Obviously, if we're scoping and hydrojetting drains, somebody's got to be boots on the ground, have to be geographically ready to go. But I don't do it, right?
No.
So you can have a team. So would that be another aspect?
I have a team too. And if I can't go and see a house, I can send someone else to see for me. Okay, for example, tomorrow, if I couldn't go and see my seller again to organize the finals before we do the showing, I can send someone there. So to answer your question, I would put maybe 7.
Okay.
7. Yeah, 7, because you can do it anywhere you are if you are organized. So with someone who's not organized, then it will be, you can't go anywhere. You're going to be here all the time to do the marketing, to put the stakes in the ground, to put the bended signs, and to, you know.
Okay, good. And those are tasks that we cover with Michael in the recent video, where we just say, hey, what is Pink and what are the day-to-day activities? I think very important for transparency on all of that to make decisions. So last two, let's go with overall value and return on investment.
For me, people will say, you're an anomaly, but I'm not an anomaly, okay? I'm just a regular person following the process. So in terms of, I couldn't make that kind of money doing any job, not even at corporate. And I know that it doesn't matter how high I go in corporate level, there's only a ceiling I can go. And they're not gonna pay me $250,000 or $200,000 for what I do, laying around, being at home, on the phone, on the bed, you know, out the door, at the balcony, to do whatever I want. The freedom I get, as you know, is I'm sucked into the freedom that I have in what I do. I can do it whenever I want to do it, or not when I don't want to do it. I can go away for a few days or go overseas, and I'm so in control of my life. So based on what I'm making with the opportunities that Pink has given me, I couldn't do it anywhere else. And that's very true. There are days when I don't feel well, Matthew, and I just lay there for 3 days.
You and me both, friend. You and me both. I think it comes with the territory. You know, and that's part of the perk of being your own boss, is you can actually sit in the feelings and in the mud if necessary from time to time. I think sometimes we just need a good old-fashioned recharge.
Yes.
Last one, which I think is really important to me also. Again, this is a subjective list, but I'm curious what you would rate community.
Explain community. Community within the Pink family?
Yes.
Oh, love it. I'm just one of the family. So, I mean, with the amount of help they've given me, the amount of education they've given me, that is the core of my success. But I'm also a good student, and I'm open-minded. To all the students out there who want to do this, anyone who want to do this, I say, don't focus on the end result. Focus on your learning, your education, and the doing. The end result will come. The money will come when you get it right. I think too many people are just focusing on you know, how much money I will make and what I'm not making. I think you're setting yourself up for failure there, because you're not focusing on the right thing. Okay. True. You have a whole host of people. Now, this Pink Academy thing, for example, I learned to do subject to. I'm selling traditionally, right? I'm doing ELPs. Half my sales now are selling traditionally. And I'm learning so much. And we even have, you know, recently we had a mastermind session, 2 days, for all the affiliates.
Yeah, you know, actually a couple of videos popped into my little text thread that Michael Matthew was sending me some really, really nice videos. Really made my day, honestly.
How exciting is that? This continuous learning is what we're promoting. I'm a trainer, so I promote continuous learning. So we're going to keep putting all these workshops out there. Now, you think of the many people you've heard of who go to Las Vegas for a course, real estate course. They're so excited. They pay $50,000. What do they get out of it at the end of the day? A big zero. What do you get out of us? Continuous learning, right? Training. You actually do deals. We support you. Our coaches are world class. They come with 30, 40 years of real estate experience. Give them anything and they can put a deal if there's money and there's willingness to do it. So, I mean, what we charge is nothing compared to so many other people who pay so much and don't get anything out of it. So look at it. You get 2 years of training, you know, in different real estate strategies, even in things that we don't teach. You can come to us. We've got experts that can work on it.
So I already have, so I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure, because I talked about all of the ins and outs of Pink with Michael. And with you, I like to get sort of an insider scoop, because it's not a we for me with you first. It's you're a client and here's what your experience has been. And what has, in my opinion, impressively graduated or evolved from this is a relationship where you can then say we, and you're now you're internal now. And to me, that speaks volumes. I think sometimes that can be picked apart where people start to think, oh, this is more from a sales agenda standpoint, which is not what I want from you. What I want from you is tell me what it was actually like in the trenches before you were able to even start with some form of a part-time position in headquarters.
Yeah. You might recall in the previous videos, I did say the first year was very tough on me.
Yeah.
Okay, the future was really tough. Anything that bad could happen, it happened to me. So
Yeah.
it's up to be me. I had to evict tenants. I was just nice. I was paying their rent for them. So I learned the hard way. And I even got sick. Remember I told you that I got sick for several months
Right.
and I recovered. Then I had to relook at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even the team thing, I had to reduce my team because they were consuming so much of my energy. Okay, so let me tell you this. My business comes first. My affiliation comes first.
Right.
If my affiliation suffers, I will walk away from corporate if that takes my time. The training is just a fun thing for me to do. I do it naturally. I don't have to prepare anything. It's my business.
Right.
I train, and I'm a natural trainer. I've been a licensed trainer in Australia. So that doesn't consume much of me at all. So it's a fun thing for me to do. But if my business suffers, and I know where my bread is buttered, is in my business.
Gotcha.
And if my business suffers, I walk away from corporate. That job is not, it's not a conflict of interest per se, because I need business to become.
If I was listening to you and this interview, I wouldn't be, I don't think I would be concerned about your role at corporate more than impressed by it, only because I think it speaks volumes. Why would you go work for corporate in a company that you haven't been impressed enough by within your own business to agree to do that? It wouldn't make any sense. However, I can.
Contradiction. It'd be a contradiction in terms, because if I don't produce the results and be able to train every month to tell people these are the deals I've done, then where is your substance?
100%.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure for those that come through this and end up on the other side of it, which is a more suspicious aspect where they're like, oh, this is somebody that has something to gain by coming out here and sharing her perspective. I don't look at it that way. And frankly, I didn't even know you worked for corporate.
It only started this year. It only started a few months ago, so it's not a
yeah. Well, it doesn't bother. I'm happy that you are, but I do want it to speak to the authenticity of this video, because we are not filled in, so to speak. You didn't know what I was coming in to ask you today, and I didn't know that you even worked for them in the first place. So I'm glad you cleared that up, because you kept saying we, and I'm like, well, you're not charging. Well, yeah, I guess in a sense, but you don't. She has nothing to gain or lose by this other than being.
And let me tell you why.
And
let me tell you why I did the training session, because I want to help the affiliates, because I probably know the most in the marketplace, and I want to help the other affiliates become successful. So in the training program, I have built in a new system. I've built in 6 modules, which follows on from the main training, so that the affiliates can work with me directly for 6 weeks to get clarity on the concept, how to get off the ground. That's how I help them.
I think that's huge. Honestly, I think it's an incentive to sign up. If I were coming in off this video, I would want to work directly with you. I don't know if that's possible or not, but for those of you guys that are wanting more information, please reach out. You can email pink, like the color, like Tom's shirt, at Little Pink Houses of America. Nope, I apologize. Pink at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Yeah,
right.
One out there. So again, email pink at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Go ahead and put conversation in the subject line, and just shows us that you saw the video, and we'll make sure that Little Pink Houses takes great care of you. They definitely treat our audience with a certain level of love, I suppose. I'm not quite sure how to word it, but it seems like there's some preferential treatment happening. And
you will feel the love, okay? I'm spending 6 weeks with them, so you have to feel the love.
Oh, no question. Yeah. And I think that there's a camaraderie too from the audience that's come in from YouTube, which is, by the way, it started 2.5 years ago for us too. And the number of participants in the Pink that have come in and done so well, it just, I don't know. It's so exciting. I love watching people get their, have their lives changed because they tune into some free video on YouTube. It still blows me away. Anyhow, I know we've gone long as usual, because I could talk to you for hours and hours, Ton. You're always so honest. You have so many redeeming qualities. We just love you. I love you, and I cannot wait to keep doing this every year. We'll make a tradition out of it, and we'll just keep checking in with you, and we'll do something that no other YouTuber does, which is to actually provide follow-up content about somebody who continues to work hard. So if this is something you want to look further into, go ahead and shoot that email, pink at VIPfinancialeducation.com. Conversation in the subject line, first, last name, and phone number in the body. And Michael or his team will reach out to you. All right. Awesome. Thank you, Ton. You're the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's lovely seeing you again.
Some names and where you're from.
Bobby and Jenny Witten. We're from Knoxville, Tennessee.
What's your previous real estate experience?
So we've got some buy and hold properties. We currently have about 7 units, and we've been in real estate investing for about a year now.
Fantastic. After the last 4 days, what's the biggest takeaway?
The biggest takeaway from us is this is something you don't have to do alone. The staff here is incredible. They're supportive, they're knowledgeable, they're friendly, professional. We don't feel like we're doing this alone. We feel like we've got a team behind us, and that's going to make all the difference.